Breaking into Target? Bold choice. Exiting through an alarmed side door? Risky. Filming the whole thing and uploading it to YouTube for clout? Mwah! Chef's kiss of stupidity. But hey, if your criminal career peaks with comments saying ratio, maybe masterminding isn't your strong suit. And this is just the start of today's episode of The Infographic Show. Dumb YouTubers who filmed their own crimes. Number 9. Fake sleepover turns into criminal trespassing. Our first dumb YouTuber story is treading on glass houses territory. A few years ago, our own challenge guy successfully spent 24 hours inside a Walmart without getting caught. But Walmart was a 24-hour store back then, so unless you were officially trespassed by the store, you weren't breaking the law by staying inside one for 24 hours. You were just being really weird. But this dumb couple not only broke the law for YouTube clout, they straight up lied to their fans about even doing it. Jumping on the popular challenge trend, Charlotte Fisher and Johnson LaRose, who go by Saucy and Honey on YouTube, decided to spend 24 hours overnight inside a Target store. Problem is, the Target they chose wasn't a 24-hour location, so they were breaking the law, and they were charged with criminal trespassing and conspiracy. Worst part is they didn't even stay overnight. They sneaked out a side emergency door which set off the store's alarm, leaving a breadcrumb trail of stupidity for the cop looking over the surveillance video. The criminal masterminds returned in the morning to pretend to have stayed overnight. As far as content creation goes, this is scraping the bottom of the barrel in the worst way. Hold on to your butts though, because we're gonna go deep into stupid country the further down the list we get. Number 8. Vigilantes for clout get arrested. In February 2021 in Osaka City, Japan, police descended on a train station, quickly identifying and arresting a drug dealer loaded with product. A group of YouTubers made up of 4 Japanese men in their 20s and 30s happened to be nearby and live-streamed the entire thing. The video was an instant hit, as it was hosted on their YouTube channel. A few months later, lightning struck again. The same crew of YouTubers stumbled upon another drug deal just as the police swooped in, like an action movie finale, nabbing another dealer fully stocked with contraband. Naturally, they caught it all on camera because nothing says top content like live crime drama, and they uploaded it to their channel, turning chaos into clicks. What incredibly good timing, or as the police saw it, a criminal conspiracy. It didn't take much digging for Japanese police to realize that the YouTubers were the ones who were setting up the drug deals and then tipping off the cops. But what's the harm in a little proactive vigilantism, even if you're just doing it for clout on YouTube? Well, it turns out that by contacting a drug dealer, setting up a deal, and offering cash in exchange for an illegal product, you're basically initiating the crime. Who would have guessed? Japanese police arrested the men and charged them with incitement to possess cannabis for commercial purposes. We don't know how jail works in Japan, but in the US, setting up drug dealers for YouTube cash isn't winning any popularity contests with your fellow inmates. What's worse is this isn't the first time this has happened, and police have busted multiple YouTubers for similar schemes. Number 7. An American nuisance abroad. Infamous for roaming across Asia and being an absolute nuisance, Ramzi Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, has managed to turn being beaten up by locals into his unofficial travel itinerary across Japan and South Korea. He even had a $700 bounty placed on his head by a South Korean streamer, asking viewers to give him Somali's location so he could beat him up again. In Japan, he mocked train riders over America's atomic bombings during World War II. And in South Korea, he kissed and danced provocatively on a statue meant to commemorate Korean comfort women forced into prostitution by the occupying Japanese Imperial Army. He's known for stunts that generally cause a public nuisance, and it's no accident that he pulls these stunts in some of the most polite nations in the world, as if he tried this in America, he'd have ended up 6 feet under by now. At least YouTube deleted his channel, cutting off most of his revenue. After being deported from Japan and barred from re-entry, it seems South Korea has had its fill of Somali. But they're not looking to kick him out. They want Somali to learn to appreciate South Korean culture from the comfort of its prison system. There's currently multiple legal charges pending against Somali, and while he hasn't been arrested as of the writing of this script, he has been barred from leaving the nation. He is facing new charges for playing North Korean propaganda out loud in public spaces, as well as using it online, something that is illegal under South Korea's National Security Act, which states it's illegal to, quote, promote, propagate, or otherwise disseminate North Korean propaganda. Then there's charges by Korean streamer Bongbong, who originally pressed charges against Somali for creating a deepfake video of them kissing as he bragged about, quote, having a Korean girlfriend. She would decide to drop the charges in the end, but that didn't stop the South Korean government from considering pressing charges themselves, which carry a prison sentence of up to 7 years. Number 6. Not all dumb YouTubers are American. Fellow Americans rejoice because it turns out that not all idiot YouTubers who go around annoying people in other countries are from the US. Greek YouTuber Phidias Paniotou would pick up Johnny Somaly's torch of annoying the Japanese people by pulling several stunts that would land him in hot water with the authorities. As part of a challenge, Phidias attempted to travel across Japan completely for free, mostly by exploiting the polite nature of the Japanese people. He begged for bus fare from people and at one point snuck onto a bus. The bus driver locked him inside and called the police, with the police detaining him for 5 hours before releasing him. They should have kept him locked up, though, as Phidias would then go on to pretend to be a guest at a fancy hotel and basically steal a breakfast. Then he filmed himself boarding multiple bullet trains and hiding from the conductor in order to avoid paying for a ticket. In one instance, he faked being sick when confronted and then ran off the train only to sneak on to another. Japanese authorities began to consider legal action, and Phidias posted an apology video on his channel. However, he wouldn't delete the original video, which earned millions of views and a hefty payday, until pressed to do so by commenters. In the end, authorities wouldn't press charges, but it was clear that his welcome in Japan had expired, and since then he hasn't returned. In India, however, he was charged with a crime after uploading a video of himself sneaking onto a train there. Seems that Phidias left the country before he could be caught. With some luck, the next country he decides to annoy will be quicker on the uptake. Let's pause for a second. What's the wildest crime you've seen so far? Let us know in the comments before we dive into the next one. Number 5. Annoying YouTube pranksters get arrested. If there is a more annoying occupation than YouTube prankster, then we've failed to discover it. So when one of those idiots gets arrested for pulling a stupid prank, it's pretty satisfying. But when 2 get arrested, it's only sweeter. Alan and Alex Stokes, 2 twin brothers known on YouTube for filming prank videos, got into serious hot water after staging a series of pranks where they pretended to rob a bank. Luckily for all involved, these 2 clown shoes weren't dumb enough to actually go into a bank and try to rob it. Instead, they dressed all in black along with balaclavas and bags stuffed with fake money. Then they called an Uber to use as their getaway vehicle. On one occasion, the unsuspecting Uber driver thought that they were real bank robbers and were now trying to carjack him, refusing the twin brothers' entry into his vehicle. Bystanders called the cops, who quickly arrived, despite the brothers already having left the scene. Police approached the hapless Uber driver with guns drawn, confused as to his role in a possible bank robbery. When authorities discovered the brothers were uploading these videos to YouTube and monetizing them, they were less than happy and the 2 were arrested. They faced a felony false imprisonment charge for what they did to the Uber driver, along with other charges which would have carried a 5-year sentence in federal prison. The brothers, however, pleaded guilty in exchange for reducing the charges to a misdemeanor, with a sentence of 160 hours of community service, 1 year probation, and paying restitution to the Uber driver. They were also barred from returning to the University of California, Irvine, where one of the videos was filmed. They were ordered to not create any more videos that, quote, mimic criminal behavior. Number 4. From Olympic snowboarder to crash landing champ. Trevor Jacob was an Olympic snowboarder and a YouTuber who was filming himself flying his private airplane when an emergency struck. Jacob was forced to jump from the aircraft and parachute to safety. Having a selfie stick in hand, he managed to film the entire thing and post it to his YouTube channel, earning him millions of views. There was just one problem. Viewers were immediately skeptical of all this being an accident, and the state of California was quick to investigate. Here is a hint. If you're going to stage a plane crash, maybe don't have the perfect camera coverage of the accidental crash, with cameras placed both inside and outside of the plane. Also, maybe don't start your video off with you already wearing a parachute. That was the detail that viewers immediately noticed, and it only took a little pressure from California prosecutors for Jacob to crumble faster than a reality star's marriage. Jacob would admit to having staged the entire thing as part of a brand deal with a wallet company who sponsored the video. After ejecting from the aircraft, he filmed the crash and then hiked to the crash site to recover the footage. This is despite him telling the National Transportation Safety Board that he had no idea where the plane had actually crashed. He would go on to earn 6 months in prison for his stunt, which could have had disastrous consequences like starting a major wildfire or even impacting people on the ground. Number 3. Sniper Wolf narrowly avoids jail. YouTubers Jack Douglas and Sniper Wolf would get into an online feud after Douglas accused, correctly, Sniper Wolf of stealing other creators' content and re-uploading it under the guise of reaction videos. It's basically as low effort as you can get on YouTube. They do all the hard work, you reap the reward. Sniper Wolf wouldn't take kindly to being called out for being a low-effort content thief, so she posted an image on her Instagram of the outside of Douglas's home, effectively doxing him. Sniper Wolf would claim her profound innocence, saying, quote, "I have no idea how to dox," even though, she literally just did it. What Sniper Wolf did is supremely creepy and dangerous, as his address was clearly visible for her fans to see. But it edged extremely close to violating California's cyber harassment and bullying laws, which would have come with several years in jail. Number 2. Logan Paul, Coliseum Fiasco. Before he would become a crypto scammer stealing millions from his fans, he was proving how stupid he was on a trip to Italy. In the incident in question, Paul was visiting Italy in 2017 and went sightseeing at the world-famous Coliseum. Due to the number of tourists and an elevated risk of terrorism for years, authorities issued a ban on flying drones across the city. In a video filmed outside the Coliseum, Paul looks into the camera and says, "I understand that drone shots here are illegal. Let's definitely do that." He then proceeds to fly a drone from a side alley. Italian police, however, were quick to respond and Paul was arrested and taken to a local police station. Paul would be quick to prove that there is no low he wouldn't stoop to for clicks, and immediately uploaded a video flaunting his arrest and receiving 8 million views because we live in a profoundly stupid world. Number 1. Bugaloo Boy livestream leads to his arrest. Up to this moment, all of our entries were largely nuisances, the cultural equivalent of a greasy enchilada fart. Our number 1 spot was not only the dumbest streamer, but also, unfortunately, the most dangerous one. Technically not a YouTuber, Aaron Swenson resorted to Facebook livestream as his platform of choice. Swenson was a self-proclaimed Boogaloo Boy, an extremist movement that looked forward to a new civil war. Back in April 2020, Aaron Swenson set out to provoke the war that he longed for so badly. His plan was to load up his vehicle with weapons, drive around and find a cop and shoot him. The insurrectionist mastermind then took to Facebook Live to stream his call for the South to rise again. Except the South collectively decided to just call the police instead. Cops were quick to join in the live stream and precisely pinpoint Swenson's location. This led to a high-speed chase and Swenson finding multiple firearms aimed in his direction. After 25 minutes of sitting in his truck, listening to heavy metal music, he lost his revolutionary nerve and surrendered. Police would discover he was wearing body armor and had multiple firearms in his vehicle. Which YouTuber crime shocked you the most? Or do you know a crazier one? Drop it in the comments. Now go check out embarrassingly stupid ways people died, Darwin Award winners, or click on this video instead.